Welcome to the grim, lawless 23rd century, following the fall of U.S. Gov and mass depopulation of major cities at the hands of the multi-trillionaire DeHuberton family. Baptized in radioactive hellfire, a rare mutation makes Turbo a fiercely pumped scrapper, haunted by specters from her past, surviving the post-apocalyptic wasteland one deathmatch pit fight at a time. But when she rescues the stunning trophy girl, the unlikely duo are thrust into a harrowing odyssey, evading marauding berserkers at every turn on their way to the ultimate showdown as they uncover the horrific truth behind the fall of humanity. Jake Jacobs, writer and penciler, and Kurt Brugel, co-writer and inker, are thrilled to announce the release of the first Turbo teaser, a significant milestone in the indie comic book industry. Jake and Kurt are the first and only duo to create a comic book live on air in a split-screen podcast. But that's not all. Recognizing the challenges and triumphs of indie comic creators, Kurt and Jake have another recurring segment of their podcast spotlighting other indie comic creators who share their stories, discuss their creative process, offer insights into audience building, and ponder the future of comics.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
Kurt Stir. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Making Turbo Pit Fighter, post-apocalyptic sci-fi comic book that pretty uniquely is being made in split screen by two guys on YouTube.
Every Sunday.
That's right.
Every Sunday.
Instead of church.
The Church of the Turbo Pit Fighter.
Right. Well, Kurt likes to say, let's go to Jake's and draw comics.
Yeah, let's go to Jake's house and hang out and talk about comics and make them.
I'm going to draw Daredevil on Bullseye. No, I'm going to draw Master.
Remember those days.
So, yeah, we're back. We are we're going to try to do a catch up today on the story here, because we haven't done that in a while. If you've been watching the recent episodes, we've been talking about kind of like some other grandiose, concepts when it comes to the comic world, and I've been doing the haul. I've been showing off my haul.
Hoss?
Yeah. Today, well, every time I go to a con, I bring back a haul, or every time I go to a comic store and I find some bargoons, I bring back a haul. And so I've been showing off to Kurt just the covers. But I think I'm going to make that a shorter segment today because I still have I have two piles here. And let's just shorten it. I'm going to ask Kurt if you want to do that segment right now off the bat, and number one, and number two, all right, now, do you want me to do my Ithaca Comics haul or my Underground haul? Which one do you want me to show?
Underground.
All right. So, this was also in Ithaca, but this was at a record store called Angry Mom Records up in Ithaca. And this is not going to be so bad. This is not the biggest haul in the world. And the other haul I have left is not that big either. Oh, wait. I'm missing one. So, as I've been documenting or detailing to Kurt, there was this record store that I was up in Ithaca by chance because my daughter goes to school up there. And they had this the couple of long boxes sitting on the floor, and the guy was pricing records, and he was saying, "Oh, I just got those long boxes of Undergrounds in," and I told Kurt I just grabbed a handful. I said, "How much for these?" I had to run, so I couldn't really go through the boxes like I wanted to, but he just gave me some prices on the spot, and they were pretty good prices. So I just, grabbed the stuff and ran. I maybe bought like $70 or $90 right there. Finally, I go back, and it's been over a year later, and they
Wow.
finally, they finally priced all the stuff and put it out. In this record store, there's this little box. It says Underground Comics, a couple of boxes, and it's all priced now. And so the prices are a little bit higher than what I might have paid that one time. So I was upset about the missed opportunity. But I'll show you. I mean, and I intend to resell these. So I think I bought smart. But here we're starting off with some Corbin, and I've never seen this one before. Mad
Oh
Dog
yeah.
Graphic,
Vic
Vic
Blood.
Blood, and the
Yeah.
Chronicles of a Boy and His Dog. I've seen those serialized, and I think those
Yeah.
might have been serialized in heavy metal. But here they are compiled, and I don't know whether this is color inside. I don't remember. But it's written by Harlan Ellison,
Yep.
sci-fi writer of some fame, and drawn by Richard Corbin. This is number 2.
You ever see the movie with Don Johnson?
No, I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was the
Oh
movie.
gosh, put it on your list. Great
Vic
movie.
Blood, a boy and his dog.
Great movie. I think it's like 79 or 80. It is a
Oh, a
great
young
movie.
Don
Yeah, I
Johnson.
mean, Don Johnson is like 17 or 18 years old. I think it's his
Before
second
my
major
right,
role in a film.
Wonderkind before Miami Vice. So this is 1972, American Flyer. This is put out by Last Gasp, who's one of the classic underground publishers. They were out of San Francisco. This is some interesting looking sci-fi, some kind of futuristic biplane, and the credit is Wells Sutherland. Um, why American Flyer Funnies number 2? No idea what's in there. I might have seen that. So I picked up all the Baudets I possibly could. Here's the complete Cheech Wizard number 3. Um, and yeah, this was some money. This was marked $15. I grabbed. This is the complete Cheech Wizard number 1, and this was only 10, I guess. I'm gonna give these a good look. I want New Yorkers. I want anybody interested in graffiti to notice here the bubble letters. Bon Baudet had these bubble letters here, and this was really important to the graffiti kids in New York City. They were looking very carefully at Cheech Wizard, at the Lizard guys, and also these bubble letters. This was just around the time that New York City graffiti art was taking off. With the spray cans and the subway trains and everything.
And the
So
break
this stuff
dancing.
is and the breakdancing and the hip hop and the rapping and the scratching and the cutting.
To the hip, to the hop, to the dip, dip. Don't stop.
Right, and this was also very influential on Ralph Bakshi, as everybody knows. He put out the Wizards as an unauthorized homage. Here's a Junk Waffle by Baudet. These things were $2.25, $2.50 at the time. This was a lot of money at the time for a comic. I think a Marvel comic was like 30 cents, cover price back then. So this is number 2, and here it carries an adults only. Some of these covers, like this one, Junk Waffle, number 3. Here's Junk Waffle number 2. You could see these are just like colored pencil. It's something pretty rare. This is like colored pencil, maybe with some marker and maybe with some like white pencil highlighters. You know, but you don't see a lot of comic art where the cover is colored pencil, and it didn't reproduce very well. You can see this is kind of weak on the contrast. It's kind of grainy. There's a snake here biting this like native looking guy. And Baudet sometimes did not use the right tools, I think, to get the best out of his artwork. I think he should have used really good, reproducible, hard, thick, rich blacks. And I guess he did whatever was comfy. But this was put out by Print Mint.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He wasn't. I don't think he. I don't believe he considered himself a commercial artist. I think he considered himself a beatnik artist. So he wasn't. He wasn't concerned with the establishment's rules in engaging printing. He
No,
was
I'm
doing
just, I'm
his.
just.
He was doing his thing, and then you know
Well, you could just
somebody
see
was
the
like, "Hey, I
difference.
want to print that. I want to print that, man. We got to get
Right,
that
but
out there, man."
you could just see the difference here. That you have these really strong black retaining lines here because it was inked, and here he's just, or maybe he didn't do a separate cover. Maybe he's just using a detail from inside as the
Or
cover. But
they are like they're he's literally just taking everything in a portfolio case and dropping it off at a publisher or printer, and they're the
right,
ones that are actually going through and doing all of it. I just don't see
and
him having what little I know, which is not an entire amount. It was just he just did these things,
he
that and
was
his
he was a
radio
real,
show and his radio show.
he was a real unicorn. He was really like, I
Oh
mean,
yes, oh
to think that he
yes.
was doing this kind of like iconic cartooning style from France during these years, when the rest of the underground scene, was doing this kind of like hatching stuff and all these kind of subversive designs, and he was doing this kind of like really stylized cartoon stuff, very conceptual, really, really unique character. I mean, I think, I gotta check out like a documentary or something.
It's not much. There's not much. There is a couple of things loosely like clipped out of previous stuff that was taken from like VHS to digital. But I will make another one of my top favorite statements. And Cobalt 60 is one of my favorite top three comic book characters. Cobalt
and that
60,
was
everybody.
and that was the dad, right?
The
He
dad.
kicked that
That's
off,
that's Von Baudet. That's Von
right? And then,
Baudet.
so he kicked that off, and then the son continued it later,
Then
right?
he had picked up, yep, and I had done a flash animation, a teaser,
Yeah,
and I got it. I
right,
got it to Mark Bodie, and yeah, we were trying to get something going with MTV.
right. Yeah. So here, well, I couldn't help but opening it up. This is great stuff. For some reason, it goes down from 250 cover price to 75 cents. But this is great stuff. And yeah, it looks like it's repurposed some of this stuff for comic format, right? This was looked like it was all laid out in magazine format. There's a lot of prose in here. So, a lot of reading to, I think that that's something that's really underused in comics. I think, combining some prose in the back is a great idea. They did it with Watchmen, and it was very successful to provide, all kinds of like different, all kinds of different content. So here's Yellow Dog #2 with a crumb cover put out by the Print Mint. This is just like classic crumb. I think there's a lot of crumb in here, but it's probably some of the other. This might be all crumb. It looks like it's all crumb. Look at this. So
Whoa!
this is number
Oh my
three and
god!
number 2.
Oh
Yeah,
my god! Who did
yeah,
that? That is amazing.
right. So this looks like something that we might have to go
Oh,
over, except it
oh
is
no, you
adults
will
only.
have to. Oh
Well,
my god! Like
it
that's
might be a minefield because it does say adults only, and you have some nudity right here on the cover. But look at this.
but
This
she's
these
blue.
She's blue on the cover. Yeah. So she's not a human. I guess that counts. But you have these hairy guys. I don't know. Like here, you got these hairy guys, and they look like they're in the days of the Trojans. And then, but there's also something weird going on back here, which is like crossing genres. That lady looks like she's dressed for the Wild West or something. And then you got this like a lumberjack in a lush forest with this
I am
blue woodman.
so in. I am
All
so.
right.
I am now right now online looking for these.
I knew you would. Plowing
Oh
through
my
it now.
god!
Now I thought this was going to be. I thought this was a Dave Stevens cover. The style just said Dave Stevens to me, but it's not. It's William Stout, and it says copyright 1978. So this is
Wow.
50s funny, the blast from the past. It's got some kind of adult stuff going on here. There's a pretty nice crease in this comics too, so it's kind of damaged. But they're talking about Shaboom by the Chords, and so this is a comic to a doo-wop soundtrack put out by Kitchen Sink in '78, and I'm very interested in this. I don't know what's going on, but William Stout is a great artist. I know that name. Um, Moving on, we got Spaced Out by the Print Mint, and this looks like the John Carter of Mars bad guys.
Yeah.
So I guess that was just public domain, and they're just doing some John Carter here.
I don't think it has anything to do with public domain. I think somebody just swiped it. They just like they just changed him from green to blue.
Okay.
And as
Right,
long as you
blue.
don't mention the name,
Right.
you're and nobody finds out, then you're good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if this is just one story in this comic, you could just turn the next page and see God knows what. So I'm gonna
Right.
have to flip through these, but it's a minefield because of the adult stuff, right? Like right here, what's in this one, right? You have this,
I have all three.
right? So you know what's in this. I cannot do a comic
It's
that incorrect.
solid. It's solid erotica. There's
Yeah,
no
this is
there's no
real. This is
getting
real
around it. But
erotica.
the thing about it is it's so tied into the 70s um, kind of psychological sci-fi, like time and space. You and I have
Yeah,
talked about Hawkwind, right?
yeah.
The prog psych
Prog rock.
band,
Well,
space band, right?
space
There,
rock band.
that comic you need to be listening to either the first
Right.
or second Hawkwind album,
Some
and
Hawkwind.
yeah,
And yeah,
you'll be all good. You'll be all good. You'll be all good.
right. That's definitely the era, and that's definitely the feeling. But just so people know, like the reason why Kurt and I won't be doing some of these on Comics and Influence is because this is just for a not safe for work audience. But there is some great stuff, and it isn't like porn. It's like
Correct.
erotic stuff, and a lot of it is very conceptual. A lot of it is hard to grasp. For people
Yes.
nowadays, even for
Yes.
us, like where were they coming from?
Nah, speak for
But that's
yourself. I'm pretty versatile with that.
Oh yeah, all right. So I found Vic Blood #1 here, and
Oh,
I looked
all right.
inside. It's all black and white, but it's all really densely packed, beautiful stuff. Look at this drop kick right here, this rope kick right here, and finally, look at this one, Viper
Whoa.
unnumbered, and I got to tell you, this is dated 1985. So we're like years out of the heyday here. And I'm not even sure what we're looking at, but I know Rip Off Press was still doing their thing, which is crazy. And, this is like some people sitting down at the Last Supper, but they're being like destroyed by this, Big Bang type blast. What the hell is going on here? 85 was like,
Eating
this
some
was when
rattlesnake. Some
yeah this is
rattler.
this is when they were competing with the indie revolution, so there's definitely going to need to be some more investigation. That is my haul,
Cool.
and I just have one more haul. If I don't go on a buying spree between now and next time, I just have one more short haul, which is my Ithaca comics that I bought at the Ithaca Comics store. So I'll do that with you next week. But yep. Because I went over these already with you, right? You saw all these already, right? The Dragon Forces and the Viking Hero. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm caught up except for one short stack, and now we can move on to the next segment, which is going to be a turbo catch up. We're not going to go over the whole thing, but obviously Turbo Pit Fighter is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi romance story with lots of action and violence. It's a messed up world, And here are some of the pages for issue number 2 that I'm working on. We do go a lot of flashbacks. You can see here young Turbo and her encounters with Embra and the pharmacists, and here they're getting assailed by the berserkers.
That's
And
issue
on that,
2.
yep, this is all issue 2, and we come from page 17, from page 16 here, where I left off. This is where young Turbo was retracing her steps. After leaving the pharmacy, she got the package. If people remember, this was going to be, and spoiler alert, inside the package, it's a prototype fireable gun that takes radioactive peas and converts it to like a projected energy, basically like a delayed explosion. It's like a projectile with a delayed explosion. Um, Turbo's sneaking this back to Sister Ray in the orphanage. You might notice here that I left some dialogue boxes not filled in yet. This is just to give us some extra flexibility later. But as Kurt and I were discussing, I'm just kind of like drawing in the actual text here so that we don't have too many surprises later on. Um, so as Turbo's retracing her steps, we get to page 17, right? Which is cool because this is like past the halfway point of issue 2. And she's going to be going back to this orphanage complex. And the orphanage complex is on fire. It's burning, and it's being laid siege by the RM, the regime militant, who are kind of like the dog soldiers of the day, that are in the middle of a civil war. When Turbo is young here, they're in the middle of a civil war with the DeHubertons. They're not on the same side anymore. The DeHubertons have automated the military and all of their power, and they don't need this human force anymore, so they're expendable. And in finding somewhere to go, they they lay siege upon this orphanage, which has this weird kind of like shape. I don't know, what do you call this? A conical. It's like a conical shape, but I think all of these little things. I mean, this is like a steeple basically. So Turbo joins the fray here and notices that it's a bloodbath, that the RM is really taking some hits, some casualties. And here in this panel that I'm just drawing now, well, I'm actually finishing this panel here, where they're getting picked off by snipers from within the orphanage. And there's a body count piling up here, but it does look bad because there's the sheer numbers. There's like there's going to be a comment here where I left some space for the words that there's multiple columns coming in as far as the eye can see, and so this is not going to be a winnable fight. And so that just leads to desperation on both sides. And I'm just trying to convey here in these little silhouettes, how much, I guess, manpower there is. But here she's saying, "Holy crud, it's a bloodbath." And then here in this panel, she's going to be in the sights of a sniper, and it's going to say, Turbo is back. She's signaling. Turbo's back. She's got the package. She's signaling she's found the leader. "I've got him in my sights, Ray." And then Ray says, "Take him down." So here she's just giving hand signals as soon as she gets back into the area, knowing that the snipers are picking these guys off. And then coming down here, we're going to introduce Dishvan the Slaver. So here I have to do some character design because this guy is going to be referred to later, even though he's going to die right here, I think. Should we have Dishvan killed right here, or should he just duck out of the way and some other guy gets killed?
We've talked about this from the past. There's no problem in killing him now and then using reference from the,
Right.
like flashback information to bring back the
Yeah.
character in that feeling. So I'm not attached to him that I'm going to cry tonight if we've decided
Right.
he's going to die.
Yeah, because this is young Turbo, so that means Dishvan the Slaver will he will that means he'll appear in Elevena comics because that will be the prequel. So no wonder they came here. This means we fight to the death, ladies. Oh, look who it is, Dishvan the Slaver. No wonder they came here. This means we fight to the death. Right. So here I have to draw Dishvan the Slaver in the sniper's uh, sights here. And so I'm just going to grab my ruler and make a thin panel here. So where is this all going? So in the next couple of sequences, Turbo is going to have to be very resourceful here, and she's got this great weapon, but she doesn't know it yet. Um, and so she's going to have to pick up some weapons from some freshly killed RM, which will give her some decent firepower. Like she'll have some automatic weapons, maybe in both hands. I don't know, maybe in one hand. And then um, here on page 18, she's going to. Whoops. I should have said that when I had it already, shouldn't I have? But on page 18, which I might only have in thumbnail, she's going to bust in to the. You know what? I just realized we can't have Sister Ray giving the command because Sister Ray is already being held captive in the at the altar. And when Turbo busts in, she's going to grab some weapons and bust in. And Sister Ray is already being held captive. So that'll be the head mistress. So that'll have to be somebody else. I got to find my notes because this was not laid out sequentially. And so instead of doing that on camera, I'll just allude to what happens. On the altar, Turbo successfully machine guns Sister Ray free, but there's still many, many more RM that are just going to be pouring in. And in her dying admonitions, Sister Ray is going to be telling Turbo to go find Elevena in the prison complex. That's her next mission. She's got to get free, and she has to know that the orphanage is going to fall, that day, or imminently, and that here I'll have to go back to these. When we're here in flashback, folks, you can see how this is all laid out. So this is where we're at right now. The next page, it's going to. Oh yeah, so this is going to be cool. The next page is going to have kind of like this little steeple right here, which you could also see a little bit better here on the montage on page 1. All of these little triangles are going to open up like a flower, and then there's going to be like some real
Oh,
fire
look at that.
with some guns and turrets and stuff. And that's when we're going to see all the nuns are wearing like garters, and it's going to be reminiscent of a Robert Rodriguez scene. And so that's on the very next page 18, and it's going to be a bloodbath on both sides. Turbo's going to have to go hand to hand. There's just too many of them. Got to hold them off for a few more minutes, it says. She's picking up some guns. Then she's just spraying these guys in the back as she's going to steal her way in She says, I have to speak to Sister Ray. She's going in. She puts on a helmet, a protective helmet. Then she crashes in, and we're going to see right here, Sister Ray is held captive at the altar, and they're trying to torture her to get her to reveal where the peas are. She's got a lot of radioactive peas, and they can sense them on the readings, but they don't know where they're hidden. The readings are strong. The peas are nearby. So Turbo busts in the stained glass windows and starts shooting these guys in the head. And then here on page 20, Sister Ray's dying scene. Oh no, wait! First, there's a standoff. Lay down the rifle, or the nun gets it, and then she says, "Turbo, go ahead, do it. Lower your weapon, just like we practiced." So Turbo lowers her weapons and shoots from the hip, and she kills the guy. Maybe she'll even like wing the nun too. I don't know. We just want to be real. Oh, here I see she blows off the guy's hand right at the wrist, just like we practiced. Jesus Christ, ears ringing. Sister Ray, are you okay? Page 21. Turbo, my child, you're incredible. You bought us more time, so much more. Where are you go? Oh, the children have been sent down the escape tunnels to the water flume. Help me take down the curtains quick so we can escape too? No, buying them time is more important. There are hundreds of them out there. We only have seconds. In these curtain rods, enough peas to do code black. Code black, sister, no. Not you, Turbo. Listen to me very carefully. The package you hold is more important than all of us. You must take the river north, find your way to Arcadia Prison. We don't have to name it that in the end, but that's what I'm calling it for now. And get the prototype to Elevena. Elevena? Gun? Prototype? You've got to go now. Go, take these peas. Siobhan is waiting for you down by the catapult. Here they come. So, and then she's going to grab the curtain rods in both hands, and she's going to do that like angelic. Well, yeah. Well, here it's just an action page. Fall back to the chancel. Kick out the window. Run, Turbo, run. She's holding them back, and now we have an aerial view of hundreds of RMs swarming the altar room, with Sister Ray holding the curtain rods above her head like Wolverine. Like like splayed out. Um, Here, Turbo, hurry! So that now we're like going like into split sequences. They're going through this winding path, winding stairs. Here, Turbo, hurry! Really has faith in you, Turbo. Hold on tight and look for the tallest trees. She's being strapped into a catapult. Page 23. Inside the curtain rods were over 1,000 radioactive crinsanium isotopes that remain stable in shielding, 0.3 millimeters thick. But what makes fission reactions occur is when it gets into proximity of beryllium. You don't want to be around for that. Then we see Sister Ray, and the hordes are approaching. They're shooting her. They're lighting her up with artillery, and then she cuts her crucifix off, which contains the beryllium, which is kind of like the the active agent that is going to create this nuclear disaster with the crinsanium. I did use some AI to figure out which active actual real isotopes we can mention that these are derived from. These will be like futuristic derivatives of plutonium, and I forget the other one, but I have notes on that in my email. Um, So Turbo is catapulted into the air where she has glider wings, and in the background, the orphanage goes sky high in a nuclear mushroom cloud. Boom! Right, and then she's flying. She's flying away on the edge of the blast. Ray took me in years ago when I had lost everything. I still had blood on my face, my father's blood. She helped hundreds of orphans like me, maybe thousands, some still in diapers. She made me tough. She made me a survivor when I was ready to pack it all in. And that's going to be the end of Young Turbo's scene for issue 2, and um, then we cut back to Trophy Girl wiping blood off Turbo's face, and Turbo says, "That's enough. We got to keep moving. They're still coming. Heat signatures less than 5 miles away, boss. The rest of the way is all downhill, and then we're gonna go downhill and see the city where Mr. Ike is. He is a mechanic. Oh, and so I got to show you, Kurt. I did some character designs, just like you were saying. So here's going to be Mr. Ike,
Oh, that's great. Oh,
and
wow.
Mr. Ike is part of Mech
Hmm.
Tech, which is a guild. You see, there's like this going to be this like patch on his shoulder. Mech Tech is a guild of mechanical technical workers in the future that all uh, work together. They have like this all-in-one, one-for-all thing, so that anytime he needs help, he can call on them, and anytime they need help, they call on each other, and they work virtually to help each other. And sometimes they just like come in and and just attack a thing like worker bees. So that's how you get a lot of things done in small, in short times. The thing about Mr. Ike is, he's a mercenary. He needs to get paid. And the way we're going to meet Mr. Ike is going to be fantastic. It's going to be really funny. But here's the character design for Mr. Ike that I wanted to show you. Um, when when they're rolling down these hills towards this city, which I think I was going to call El Bravo, I wanted to make it look like a name like reminiscent of a Clint Eastwood movie, but it's going to be this little city that's kind of inhabited by mech tech guys, and it says no freebooters, no freebooters. This whole town is full of deserters, mercs, and gearheads. Um, and as soon as they're entering the vicinity, we've got company. There's going to be this hot rod chasing them. Should I drop some tumbler eggs? Page 26, we're going to enter the city and see that Mr. Ike is running towards Turbo. There he is. What is he doing? So he's being shot at, and that's how. And so Turbo sticks her arm out and pulls him into the truck. Boy, am I glad to see you. I didn't. You're the last person I expected to see, but boy, am I glad to see you. You're the last one I expected, but boy, am I glad. Dot dot dot. I'm just getting these notes in because it's really important. So it turns out Mr. Ike is being shot at by his soon-to-be ex-wife, and I did a character study of her right here.
That is awesome. That is
And
great. Great.
she
That is
is
great.
pissed off for the last time that he was fooling around with her sisters, and so she's got these launchers, these like rocket launchers. Um, but as soon as Ike can get in the van, he's going to like press some buttons on a little device, and it's gonna lock up her gun. So he just got out of there with his life. And she is actually going to do them a favor and take out accidentally take out the van that is following them. I'm gonna write he kill switch. He has kill switch, but so they don't have to worry who was pursuing them. But this is going to be page 27. They're going to get a respite, and they're going to go to this underground tunnel where they do a lot of vehicle repairs. Turbo's going to get her first nap. What is this place? They can patch up the truck. It's like a homeless shelter for tech heads. Looks like a junkyard. There's Phil. He's a robot guy. Service bay. Um, okay, they gave us the repair costs. She's asleep. How convenient. What's this? Well, there's holding. I can't read some of this stuff. It's too small. But this is going to take
everybody else is saying the same thing.
Yeah, this is going to take us to the end. I mean, we're going to set up a couple of things on this page 28 and 29. Page 28 and 29 is going to be where Trophy Girl is going to bond with Mr. Ike, and she's going to tell him things that she couldn't say to Turbo. Here we're going to see Turbo's looks like she's asleep, but she's actually awake, so she's listening. Trophy's going to tell her that her plan is to leave Turbo as soon as she can, and to hook up with some high roller. She says there's a gambling town with lots of high rollers. I want to get off on the first gambling town with high rollers, and he says, "You sure about that? Uh, you're safe with Turbo. No future. I don't see a future with her. She'll keep you safe." She says, "You don't know my past. Um, Not so safe for a kid like you. You sure about that? It's not so safe. This world is not so safe for a kid like you." Well, I suppose we'll make our way there anyway, and we'll see. And that's when they notice the poster for the Big Deal Nationals, which is the next big pit fight event, and they're going to start rolling right towards that. That's going to be the plan for Grown Up Turbo. Remember, I said I have so much planned for Young Turbo, but we didn't have a lot planned for Grown Up Turbo. Her working her way through the Big Deal Nationals into the final showdown fight is going to be that plan. But of course, every time there'll be a pit fight, there'll be a siege and rigging. Finally, page 29, the sun comes up and the Mechanics Guild guys come up and say it's time to pay up, either the van or the robot or the girl. And all of a sudden, Ike comes up with all these peas. Wait, here you go. And it turns out he had to sell his tools. But he says, "I want to join you, Turbo. Let me be your second for the regionals. We have just enough peas to make it to Vegas. We better hit the road." And then they're also going to plant a rumor that they went somewhere else, that they went to Parchment Ranch, that they're headed to Parchment Ranch for safety, but they're actually heading west to the regionals. "We can't stay here. The hate breeders are on our tail." So that's page 29. Then the last 3 pages, which I won't go over, are the premiere of the Unbeknownst one. And so I do need to go back into that other tranche of sketches I have, because I have some sketches of the Unbeknownst one. But I do have laid out here in rough format and when I say rough, it has more meaning than one, the last 3 pages where the Unbeknownst one comes upon a troop of pit fighter and with his entourage. And it's not going to be pretty what happens in pages 30, 31, and 32. And that's going to be the final page. 32 plus 4 is going to be this book. But I did a pencil sketch of, this is what I do when I'm at work and I'm bored and I'm trapped. This is going to be
good.
This is going to be the pit fighter. He's going to wear like a wrestling mask, like El Santo. And I think I have a design of him downstairs in another sketchbook.
Yeah,
But
you do.
yeah, but because I showed it online. But here is his entourage, and these guys are going to be traveling to the Nationals. They're going to be intercepted by the unbeknownst one, and it's not going to be pretty. That's how we're going to meet the unbeknownst one. But there will be a fight between this guy and unbeknownst one. These guys will get kind of slaughtered, and it will be really cruel, showing that the cruelty is the point. Um, and that is going to be the note that we finish Turbo number 2 on. So that is not only a catch up, that is going to last us for a little while as we draw these pages. If anybody has any comments on the story, hey, what if you did blah 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 in this scene? Hey, what if you added the element of blue blue blue? Um, Feel free. I'm down to take input. Um, if somebody gives us an idea that we can use, and this goes for Kurt or anybody, in our little network of listeners, um, I'll appreciate it. Like if I use something, we'll say special thanks, on some page, on some edition somewhere. But here I just found what I have laid out in roughs, page 30. We see and this is just like straight out of Road Warrior, I think. There's this souped up vehicle going to the Big Deal Nationals. This is a lonely highway, almost too quiet. We got a high readings boss, over 4,500 joules. This is, you're hearing off to the side, and so this is going to be the chatter of the unbeknownst one's entourage. Then we're going to see these three, this team, and the wrestler has his mask over his head, half off of his head. He's eating peanuts, and the other two are visible in the cab. All of a sudden, a grappling hook smashes the window, and then in a big half-page splash, we see the unbeknownst one and his entourage dressed up just like Humongous and the bad guys in the Road Warrior. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wait, there was 1, 2. There was 3 Road Warriors, right? So far, yeah. So
No,
nice
4.
van. What's that?
4. Fury Road. Yeah, Mad Max, Road Warrior, Beyond
Oh, right,
Thunderdome, and Fury
yeah,
Road.
right. I always forget Mad Max because for me it all starts with Road Warrior. I haven't
Oh,
seen Mad
Mad
Max.
Max. Oh, so
I haven't
good.
seen Mad Max since the first time I saw it.
Oh my God, I've watched it at least 100 times.
Because it's not Road
So
Warrior
good.
enough for me.
Real
You know,
interesting point about Road Warrior is it was originally written and production had started that Mad Max was like an ambulance driver, I think is what it was. Because George Miller was in medical school. He was going to become a doctor of some sort. And then there was that huge crash and gasoline prices went up. And he is in Australia, and it was everything on the news was becoming so surreal that he kept thinking this is like the beginning of a post-apocalypse. And they had just done some like driving around town and having car crashes, which you see in the movie, which were supposed to be then the following week or something, they would start production on the actors coming in and playing out, these roles. Well, he rewrites it, and he wants then Max to be a cop,
Max
and
doesn't give
and
a
and then
in
that no, but he does not become Mad Max the Road Warrior until the very end, and not
right.
very
Well,
end. It's the last like 15
oh,
minutes
sorry.
because of what happens to his wife and kid, and then there's a really great film review on YouTube, and it gives really like
Yeah,
a decent understanding of like creative process, why the movie doesn't hold, as people always criticize it as, the same weight that Road Warrior does. But I remember seeing it and being completely mesmerized by it, because once again, it falls into the, the B movie, crap, the afternoon. So, so look, we are over the 45-minute mark. We are always trying to keep these bite-sized episodes so people can get back to reading comic books, making them if they do. I was not able to get to some of the things that I wanted to talk to, Jake, which is okay. It's okay. But this video will be coming out at the end of November, which means we only have one more month of 2023. This is page 5 of the next Turbo teaser. It's page 11 in the issue. And then I have page 6. Let me throw this one up. This is page 6, which gives us another Turbo teaser. So next week, I want to start pulling some scheduling duties on us and looking at focusing in on the cover, which you have that illustration. Can you grab that pinup that you just showed off of the portrait of Turbo? Because I'm going to put, you have that. We're going to use as the cover. Yes, that's going to be, pull it to the right. Yeah. So this is going to be the next cover for Turbo teaser number 2. So Jake's going to finish that up very soon. He's going to get it in front of me where I can start inking. But we go through the whole.
No, this is page 1 of issue number 2.
It could still be. It could still be the Turbo teaser. It could still be the Turbo teaser cover. It's all right.
No,
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
I have a different pinup that's in progress. I thought you were.
Oh, okay. That's the one I was referring to.
No, that's page 1 of issue 2.
Okay. I apologize. Because I'm so excited because we're following in on some things we've learned having done Turbo 1, the teaser number 1, because and we're going to share those next week. So I have already prepped. I've already prepped Jake for pre-camera today, and then we'll be talking throughout the week. But we want to give some hardcore dates for 2024, specifically right out of the gate for release of Turbo teaser number 2. So with that being said, Jake, I'm good. And like I said, I'll keep it for next week. Do you have anything else for these good people before we let them go?
No, just that Turbo teaser number 2 will be cumulative, and it will be professionally printed. So that's cool. I mean, professionally quick printed. So that's cool.
I was ready to say. Yeah, we're working that out though. Don't say we're gonna do something and then we find another way of going about doing it, because we have options. We have options. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. So thanks everybody, and leave comments. Go to the community tab and fill out those fun polling questions that I put up every week. And most importantly, share your art with us, your ideas, anything. We're totally approachable. But
all right, folks, later.